Hey guys, how are you? So we're back here, and I'm with the T-shirt video, and this one is from Cancun. So I bought this in Cancun. This is my lizard, and love Cancun. You guys have to go. Of course, I came. I went there with family and all, but for you guys, it's a whole new world there and kind of different experience, but still probably a very enjoyable time that you guys are gonna have there. Or even if you go with family and go to the beach and parks and stuff like that, it also is a lot of fun. So today we're gonna go over. We continue regression. We're gonna do regression with Minitab. Talk a little bit more about regression. So still on regression is this video, and then we're gonna go a little bit further down the road. These are steps for regression model. I kind of told you guys to try to do it with the example that you have on that worksheet. But these are the step-by-step, right? I know there's a lot of steps, but regression is an important and very, very, very useful tool that you can use to really impress your employee and your bosses. Scatter plots for X and Y individually to take a look at the impact of every X in Y. Run the regression. If F test is less than 0.05, it means that the regression works. It's explaining Y variable. Then you have to exclude the variables with p-value lower than critical value. And again, if you're doing for the green belt and for this class, you have to use this rule. For everything else, don't use this rule. So it's going to be 0.05 divided by the number of variables plus 1. Why plus 1? Because that's the intercept. The intercept is also a test that you're doing, right? The constant, testing if the constant is there or not, or is different than 0 or not. Run regression again until you get all the critical values to be below this. Create a scatter plot of the residual to see some patterns there if there is. Make a correlation of all X variables to see if you have that problem that I talked to you guys about. If there's too much correlation between X variables, that influence the model, because the model is assuming that they're independent variables. And then if there is too much correlation, you need to take one out, because that's kind of, there's something that impacts either both of them or one is impacting the other. If all lower than 0.65, which usually it's okay. Look at the adjusted R-squared to see how much of the variance of Y you can explain with your X variables, right? Changing X variables values. Remember PGA again, I talked to that about everything, every test that you have to do and things that you have to look at and to be sure that you're kind of doing the right thing and passing the message right, convincing people, right? Practical. Should this work in a real setting? Does this relationship make sense? Okay, it's important, and it's important for whoever you're doing the test for. Graphical, scatter plots, histograms, line charts, whatever kind of tool, box plot, box and whiskers plot that you can understand the kind of the relationship and the differences that you're talking about will help. And analytical will mean what is the p-value, what is the r-square, what is the t-stats. This kind of thing is the kind of the analytical point. Okay. So now there's the slide slide by slide on Minitab, how to do regression on Minitab. So I'm gonna open my Minitab and do it with you guys. So let's new share here. I'm gonna share Minitab. So this is Minitab. First thing to do is to copy and paste the data, right? So you have to, I'm gonna do the example regression with the observation number, bake, time, reagent, purity, pull speed, and breaking strength. So I don't think I did this. I'm going to copy. I just open Excel and copy it. You probably cannot see that. but then you go to Minitab and you paste cells here. So now I have, these are the X variables and this is the Y variable, right? So you go to stats, regression, hope you're seeing this. Regression again, and fit regression model. And on the fit regression model there, you have the, yeah, I don't know if you guys are seeing that or not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show the whole screen. The whole desktop, okay. And let's just make things bigger. So I copy from this, I am pasting here, right? So we have the responses and the continuous predictors and categorical predictors. So categorical predictors if it's an attribute data, continuous if it's continuous data, right? So breaking strength was our response. So click here, double click there, then click here in the continuous predictors and double click there and put all the bake time and full speed there, right? We're going to click here on the stepwise method. We're going to use stepwise selection here. So that's the method that we're using, okay? And to enter and remove a variable, we're going to use that 0.05 divided by 4, right? Which is 0.125. So if you're using, depending on how many variables you have, it doesn't automatically calculate it for you. You have to put it there, okay? And this is not details the meta, okay. And then we need to graph some stuff, right? We're gonna graph the residuals versus fit here. That's the plot that we want to put it there. Plot residuals versus the variable, yes. No, we don't need residuals versus variable, I think. Let's go back to the Excel file, right? We did this, we did this, we did this, stepwise. Yeah, we did residuals versus fit, and we're all good. So click OK. Again, in 1 second, it will do everything that we need, and we'll get to this answer here, okay? So here I have the method that I use called stepwise. It just put and remove things as they get into this threshold that we put it in. It gives me my equation, 20.5 plus 0.4079 bake time plus 0.179 hold time. Remember that one of them, the speed, it was higher than 0.125, right? So here you have our p-values. Here you have the r-square, adjusted r-square of 83%. We don't need this. And this is the residual fit, right? Which is actually to take a look to see if there's something going on in the residuals as well, okay? So this is how you do it with the Minitab. And now we're gonna go to our next topic. So try to do this with Minitab and see if you guys get the same results.